Hey everyone, happy Monday. So great to see you. So great to see you, Fatima and Johnny, Grace and Roberto. See a lot of, hey, there's Alejandro, Ashley. Hey, Lucas. I don't see Jeffrey, Roland, and Raphael, but it would be great to be able to see you. As always, we try to keep our video on just so that we're forming that connection. Raphael, great to see you. That's just how we roll. You know, a lot of classes and different conferences allow people to just have their like video on mute, and it works in some instances, but for us, we want to try to create a community, and it's just so much more meaningful to like see like one another. So it's great to see your faces. Thank you so much for being here for this Monday Facebook challenge, and it is week 5, is it not? Simeon, Tara, are we at week 5? It is week 5. We're 5 out of 10. Can you believe it? Halfway. All right. Well, we are so thrilled to introduce to you this challenge, and really this next hour is going to impart for you some skills that has you prepared to do this challenge. And I'm going to start by saying that our colleagues at Facebook are really excited about this challenge. They are aware that we are doing this challenge. They are also aware that we are keen on serving people of color, especially underserved minorities in our nation. And they recognize that they have a pretty mixed reputation, let's put it that way, as it relates to people of color employees, and I think that they're working hard to try to address that, and they're really keen on potentially working with us to take steps in that direction. So I'm especially excited to show them some of the challenges that you do so that they might take a look at some of the great talent that's in our community. And so keep that in mind. Now, you usually don't see me in a t-shirt, but I'm going to show you that I'm wearing a t-shirt. It says HBCU 2014 Innovation Summit. Why am I wearing a t-shirt? Well, it is Monday and I'm allowed to wear a t-shirt. I get it, but I don't ordinarily come so dressed down for you all, right? I don't wear a suit or anything, but the reason why is because I got a chance to go to to Facebook. There's me with Cheryl Sanders. This was right after she wrote the book Lean In, and I was a big fan of that book. I still am a big fan of that book about women at work and really sort of leaning into the economic disparities and just persisting in the face of adversity of being a woman in a corporate environment or a tech environment. But that's an aside. What I do want to share with you is that they hosted about 100 of us as part of this HBCU Innovation Summit. And we learned a lot from their company, and it would be nice if they hosted us. Wouldn't that be cool? Who would attend if they hosted us? Right? We'd find a way to get there. We would find a way to get there. All right, well, we're gonna plant that seed. We'll share this video with them and we'll plant that seed that, you know, they might wanna host us, brilliant creators. So before all the last 4 years of issues that Facebook has had, I personally have admired Facebook for the tools it has created for parts of the world to be more connected to one another. I really personally admired what happened as a result of the Arab Spring and the community of citizens coming together and saying, we want a different kind of leadership, and just the connectivity that it provides community members who might be interested in a local town or town politics, or communities that that care about a certain subject. Like, for instance, I was on keto for a year, and it was the best year. Very physically fit. I learned so much from community members about keto in that community. And so how many of you, show of hands, have used Facebook for accessing a community to learn and interact? All right, Ashley, Fatima, Alejandro, Johnny Bean, Grace. Yeah, right. And I see also Jilly raised his hand. Yeah, so it's not for everyone. And I know a lot of people deleted their Facebook accounts in the last 4 years, and then some people turned it back on during the pandemic, and really, like, to each their own. Instagram is also another great community, right? Of very different in its approach. And WhatsApp has been an incredible community in other parts of the globe in particular. So raise your hand if you used WhatsApp. Okay, Johnny B. Oh, wow, many of you. Okay. Very, very popular tool for communication and connection in other parts of the world. India, it's like no text-based communication or SMS communication, as hardly any in comparison to WhatsApp. WhatsApp is probably just as popular, way more popular, I would say, than Instagram or Facebook in places like India and the Far East. So all that said, these are very powerful methods of engaging communities. And you, as aspiring corporate professionals, will be, no matter what your position, you will be engaging communities, right? Whether you are creating a community or you are trying to reach a community that already exists. Understanding ways to use communities is going to be an important part of your work, no matter what kind of work that you do. And so we have an activity for you this week that allows you to realize some new skills in doing that. And we're going to start by asking you to think about something that is a skill that you have. Okay, you have lots of skills. But think about something that you are really skilled at that you could teach someone how to do in the next 5 minutes. Okay? Think about a skill that you have that you could teach someone how to do in 5 minutes. Okay? So we're not talking about like how to record and produce a set, like a music composition. It could be something related to cooking, art, photography, something that you love that you could just teach someone how to do. You're really good at this and you can teach someone how to do that in 5 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna put on some music and I'm gonna have you think about that. And there's no right answer here, by the way. Like, it can be as silly as you want it to be, as like fun and creative and silly and non-trivial as you want it to be, okay? So putting on a timer for, now it's like less than 5 minutes. So I'm gonna put it on for 3 minutes. Think about how you're going to teach one other person in this call that skill. Okay, so just, you can jot down a few notes.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we've seen. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. Now, darling, whenever you're in trouble,
One more minute.
should tumble and fall. All of the mountain may crumble to the sea. I won't cry, I won't cry. No, 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 I won't shed no tears. Just as long, just as long, just as long as you stand by me. I'm darling, darling. I said I need somebody with me. I need
Okay,
just a little helping
great.
hand.
And my trusty colleague Tara just reminded me that I did not give you your survey. It's literally less than like the amount of time that all previous surveys have taken. So Tara, do you mind dropping that link in the chat window? So check that out, folks, if you wouldn't mind completing that. Remember, we're always looking to see how people's knowledge has developed as a result of what we are working on with you. So if you wouldn't mind completing that, just take a second. And when you're done completing that survey, just add done in the chat window. Who's going to be the first to be done? Not that it's a race or anything. All right, Ashley. Grace. Johnny Bean. And Roberto. All right, I trust the rest of you are going to complete that last little bit and hit submit. Thank you for doing that. While you do that, I'll give you instructions about this next little bit. So what you're gonna do, you've been assigned to a breakout room. And by the way, Tara and Simeon, you're in a breakout room too. So be prepared to teach one another something, okay? And we're gonna give you 4 minutes each to teach one another this thing. And so start by like introducing who you are, where you go to school, like a little bit of niceties. And then say what your skill is and what you're going to teach that person, and then teach it to them, okay? Using whatever means possible. You can be really rudimentary, like by show and tell, like pointing out, or a link to a chat window thing, or like share your screen, although don't get that technical, but you can if you wanted to. And then I'll give you a signal in the little window that says switch. If you haven't switched already, switch at the 4-minute mark. And the next person, your partner, will teach you something, okay? So does anyone have any quick questions? Excellent. All right, I'm opening up the waiting rooms and opening up the rooms, and I'll see you back here in 8 minutes. Zoom recording.
Ashley taught me the C scale in music, and she sang it for me.
Nice. How did she teach you?
She originally just told me what she was teaching me, and she told me how the music goes up, and then she sang the scale for me.
Awesome. Did you get a chance to do it too?
No.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you. Who else would like to share? Thank you, Fatma, for offering that. Who else would like to share something their partner taught them how to do?
My partner taught me how to crochet a flower.
Hey,
And like she went step by step. And I know how to crochet a little bit, but she taught me more.
very nice. So now we're talking about like yarn, needles, that whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. That's pretty awesome. I heard that those flowers are pretty hard. So that's a pretty cool thing to learn. No, not, Fatma says, no way. So easy. Awesome. Who else would like to share what they learned, what their partner taught them?
I'll go, I guess.
Yeah.
My partner, Grace, taught me how to draw a dog.
Hey,
And I'm horrible with, I can't draw anything at all, but I can draw a dog now. So,
awesome. How did she teach you?
uh, well, she showed me. She showed me where you draw a little circle to draw the head, and then she showed how you draw the spine, depending on whether the dog is sitting or standing. Then how to draw the
Oh,
little leg,
it's
and it's very cool. She's a great artist.
it's pretty amazing. Thank you, Grace, for teaching Johnny that. And like
Yes.
it's pretty amazing how artists they just know these tricks, and like most of us layperson people, like just people who put the eyes on a face on the forehead when in fact they're like side by side actually on the nose, and like those basic things like how to get a face drawing going, things like that. I just I'm always in admiration of people who can do artistic work like that. And one last and final share. Anyone else have something really neat that they learned?
So my partner taught me how to make a face off of the number 55.
Really?
Yeah.
How did they teach you how to do that?
So first you draw like the 55, and then you draw like curly hair on top of the fives, and then you add a circle in the second five, and then you add like the little musical note and eyes, and then there goes the face. Let me see if I can find mine.
Did you get a chance to do that too?
Yeah, this is mine.
Hey, check it out.
Yeah.
I see it. I see the face. That's pretty great. Excellent. Well, congratulations. You have just officially taught a person by way of a 4-minute class. And what we're going to do is like help you think about how people learn, and we're going to impart some of the basics of teaching to you, like super basic. So one thing that I'd like you to consider next is the question, what do you love in the classes, the online classes that you've taken? And I'm going to share with you a poll. Now this poll is left over from my Stanford class, which is on dismantling systemic racism in higher education. So the pollev.com/racism is the link. So sorry, I didn't change it to make it. But if you wouldn't mind going to pollev.com/racism, I'd like you to share with one another what are the characteristics of your favorite online learning experiences. And my goodness, we've seen them all, haven't we, in the last 6 months, 6 to 9 months, I would say. We've seen some practices that are just terrible, and faculty and staff, they're really getting there slowly, but you know how best you learn. And so go ahead and share some of yours. And also, when you see a response there that you like, you can vote it up or down. So go ahead and add, what is that favorite thing from your favorite class? What is it about it that makes it amazing for you? All right, who's going to be the first? Pre-recorded lectures and engaging in online forums. I can't even tell you how valuable this is. First of all, the fact that you can access it on your own time, you can manage your own time, you can slow it down, speed it up, and then being able to connect with others and ask them questions or like side conversations with other people, so valuable. Practical exercises. Yeah, when you can actually do it and learn, I don't know about you all, but I retain it so much better when I'm actually doing the thing, and then I can understand it better, and I know what I want to know. This is a key thing about education, is unless you do it, then you don't know, A, why you'd even want to know more. And it like sort of inspires you to, B, do it better. So you go on a quest to understand how you might do it better. So practical exercises for sure. When professors post the information and the work online and give us the due dates, rather than meeting for class and having to teach ourselves. Yeah, as organized as possible that professors can be really, really helps. And yeah, rather than having to come into a class, that's why we like to record these sessions and share it out with a broader group of people, because you can learn on your own time. And also, if you're here, then you experience it and you learn it in a different way. So we always love when you can come to these in-person kickoffs. Being in small groups to actually meet my classmates, gosh, like teaching something to another friend and making a new friend, it's so much fun. You know, actually this phenomenon social scientists have discovered, which is called social learning. And there are these famous social scientists who we've met, and they talk about peer learning. And the amount that you can learn from your peers is actually way higher than sometimes from the professors in the class. And so you really want to create social learning environments so people can learn from one another and ask one another those questions. So peer learning is super important. So being in small groups to actually meet my classmates, being able to communicate through writing, absolutely. Interactive, I enjoy classes that I'm able to speak and answer questions instead of only listening to a lecture. Lectures suck, totally, couldn't agree with you more. Okay, I think I got them all. This is an excellent list. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Actually, I'm gonna stop sharing that screen, and instead I'm gonna share with you a different screen. And that is for our presentation. Here we go. Where are you, presentation? I should have it handy. Here it is. Okay, present. Okay, so what did we do for the first activity? We taught someone, just outright. What we know, and this is what we practice at Stanford, and we actually bring in faculty from universities and colleges all through the globe, and they pay a pretty penny to come learn from some folks that I work with at Stanford who specialize in how best to teach, teaching and learning. What we know is that students learn much better if educators follow this formula. And you'll probably recognize it when you think and really reflect on your teachers who do this well. But I'm teaching you this because this is the secret ingredient for you to do this challenge well. And so this formula is that students learn best when they do it, and then you teach them a little bit of something about it, like the secret ingredients of how to do that thing, and then they do it better. So sometimes students push back on this, right? For instance, you might ask a group of students to produce a podcast on racism, 3 to 5 minutes long, use Descript. There you go, you've got a few days to do it. And some students may be like, oh shit, this is not enough time, I wish I had more time. But actually, it turns out that there's something really powerful to productive struggle. When you have to figure things out and you now know the questions that you wish you had answers to. And then the following week, when people might teach you some more information, or maybe just by doing it the first week, you start to observe what podcasters do really well in their introductions, in their transitions, how they actually build in some pauses by design and keep in some of the ums and ahs. So there are techniques that you learn because you did it. But if you didn't do it the first time, you might not know what you want to learn to do it better, right? So and this is for you as a teacher to ask someone else to do, and then you teach them a little something, and then they do it better. So this is a really powerful formula that helps people learn. And then there's another key consideration, which is Do you teach it synchronously or asynchronously? Here we are, we're in this session together as part of the Monday kickoff to the Facebook challenge. We're all in a live Zoom call for an hour synchronously. Now, some people will receive this recording. Those who didn't get to benefit from learning, from one another, they will receive it and they will consume the recording at another time. They will consume it asynchronously. They'll watch it, they'll do it on their own time, and then they will produce something for Friday's hour of mentorship that meets the challenge requirements. That's asynchronous. So they never have to actually meet someone if they don't want to, but they're learning on their own time, they're producing it on their own time, maybe they're sharing it in a forum. Perhaps they're coming back to a Zoom meeting. Whatever the end result is can be really fluid. And all of you by now have taken both synchronous and asynchronous classes. They have their pros and cons. One powerful pro of asynchronous for you as a potential teacher of some skill is that you can reach far more people because they're doing it on their own time. You can reach people who are in both models, synchronous and asynchronous now. Whereas before the pandemic, you might be reaching people just locally. Now you can reach people all across the nation and all across the globe. And that's super powerful as well. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we're going to go into a second activity. What I'd like to challenge you to do is to take 5 minutes and think about how you would apply this formula to what you just taught your partner. Okay, take 5 minutes to think about what might you have them do first, okay? And then you might teach them a little something and then they do it better, okay? And you can pick the same thing that you taught them, or you could pick a new thing if you'd like, because we're so skilled. We have so many skills. You could pick a different skill, right? In fact, because you're meeting the same partner, you might want to pick something else. So Grace, maybe it's not a dog. Maybe now it's a bearded lizard. I listen. Fatma, maybe it's not a flower. Maybe it's a some other three-dimensional thing. I don't know. Okay, you got it. You got it. Okay, so just take a moment to think about that. At this point, I'm going to give you like 3.5 minutes. Okay, take a moment. I'll put on some music. All right, that's better. Like 30 to 45 seconds. Okay, So I'm going to open up the rooms, and I'm not going to give you more time because this time, you've already introduced yourselves to one another. No need for formalities. You can get right into it, right? So the first person, go ahead and ask the person to do, and then teach a little something, and then they'll do it again, and then vice versa. I'll give you the 4-minute, switch, okay? And off you go.
Listen, baby, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide
Right?
enough, baby.
Ain't no mountain high enough that we cannot teach one another how to accomplish, right? Is this not appropriate? Okay. I would love to hear how that went. So, how was that different from the first time around? Go ahead and take yourself off mute and share your thoughts about how your partner taught it differently that helped you learn it differently. Better or worse or
Well, I taught a different thing.
great.
I taught Grace how to play a chord on the guitar.
And Grace,
And,
did you learn by doing?
I don't have a guitar, but he showed me like the finger placements, so I saw how you're supposed to put them on the different frets and the different chords.
Yeah.
Neat. Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Another partner sharing what their partner taught them. So what your partner taught you and how they had you doing rather than just, having them show you how to do it.
My partner, she was very descriptive, and she even had a music book to help me learn like the different counts or whatever. So we went over what is it, 6/8, and we snapped it out and figure out like the different counts.
Cool. And was this still relating to the crocheting the rose?
No, this was actually separate. This was about music.
Cool. Very cool. And so that's a really neat thing because there are little tricks like that help you remember counting out and other rhythmic things that, secrets of the trade that a lot of people from the outside don't get to see, but we possess that knowledge and can impart it and inspire other people to imagine and be intrigued enough to go learn, realize that it's not quite so overwhelming as we might have thought it was. Any final examples to share? Don't be shy. I can wait it out.
So what I learned from Alejandro were the 5 steps of verbal judo. What he did differently the second time was that he structured it in 5 distinct steps, and this helped me to memorize the steps better.
Cool. 5 steps of verbal judo. That I'm super intrigued to learn more.
Yeah,
Wow.
so I had 5 years of experience as a security guard, right? So like I've, seen a lot, and I've dealt with a lot of people that were really aggressive and such. And basically the 5 communication, I call it tactical communications, but it's also referred to as verbal judo. So basically the first step is like all people want to be treated with dignity and respect. So keep that in mind. You don't want to treat them like they're like obviously they're being aggressive, but you want to like try to calm them down. And the second step is all people want to be asked rather than being told to do something. So like maybe ask them like, hey, um, or you can maybe like put it this way, like, hey, I think it'll be a great idea if you calm down. Cause like, say for example, you see like a dispute going on, like a guy saying, hey, why are you checking out my girl, this and that, and then the guy's like, what, you tripping, man? And then you want to step in, right? But first you got to assess the situation, because it's always about your safety first. And then, so yeah, like I said, like maybe like you want to approach the guy and tell, well, not really approach him, keep a good distance away from him, 3 to 4 feet. And then like basically ask him, hey man, I think you need to calm down, or I feel like you need to calm down and such. But it's always better to ask. And the third one is like all people want to be told why they're being asked to do something. Like you can tell them, hey man, you're really, I understand you're really upset. I don't want you to make any mistakes. So like, cause there's, people around, call the police and such. So you just want to remind them like the consequences and such, because they're going to be really angry, and your goal is to like calm them down, de-escalate the situation. And then the fourth one is all people want to be given options rather than threats. So say for example, he's really getting riled up, he's getting ready to attack. You can just tell him, hey man, I hate to do this, but like if you're gonna act, I'm gonna have to do something. So you want to tell him, hey, so you either calm down right now and just let go of the situation, go on with your day, or I'll have to call the police. And then the fifth step is basically all people want a second chance, right? So just like, always remind them like, no, it's not worth it. You got to calm down and such. Just a little misunderstanding. Just go on with your day.
I love that. And I think the 5 steps make it really handy to remember. And I think when teaching that, it would be cool to explore like a role-playing situation, like a hostile situation that you simulate, and then like give people a chance to try that, and then introduce the 5, the handy things, right? And then like have them try it again and see how they might do better. So it's always good to think about like, what could I do to simulate the experience? Or like maybe there's a live case study in front of you, and like, what would you have done differently? But all of these things are important to thinking about the learning experience. Now, why are we having you teach? We're having you teach because invariably you'll be a part of an organization or leading an organization where learning and knowledge sharing is vital. And it is really important. We all have gifts to share with others. And the extent to which we are able to communicate and impart that is the extent to which
It's
we will
4
be
o'clock.
elevated and rise up within the organizations that we manage. And so we are imparting these skills because we know it will be helpful to you, and that you'll be able to frame this for employers as you being able to teach others. So I know we're at time, but I'm going to quickly share my screen and show you the nature of the challenge for this week. Okay, so we are asking you to teach. We are asking you to teach using any Facebook platform. And I mentioned on Friday that one of my students in India actually used WhatsApp to teach a class of 30 students located all across the nation of India. He taught them how to do design thinking using WhatsApp. He put out a Google form, recruited students, picked them, asked crazy, wonderful questions like, who's gotten suspended from class? What have you not enjoyed in your learning experiences? And he recruited them based on certain criteria. And then he would put the assignments in the WhatsApp group. Students would apply it to their improving the higher education environment. And then they would all post their prototypes and they would brainstorm together using the forum. And so that's how design thinking works, is that you learn about your environment, imagine new solutions, prototype them, brainstorm, all those things. But if you were teaching someone how to de-escalate a situation, your class curriculum would look different. But you could still use WhatsApp to teach that class. And so what we're asking you to do, and Simeon, I would love for you to take yourself off mute and share a little bit about this slide so that students know how they can use any of these platforms to do so.
Yeah, so great. So as Shimera said, you'll be creating a classroom based upon a field study or major that you're in. So this is something that you're already passionate about or you're interested in, or something that you can teach. You all today have shown examples of being able to teach somebody within a couple of minutes. So this should be something that you should be able to do for the rest of the week. So you're coming up with posts and events that will generate activity. We want to make sure if it's on Facebook that you're creating a page that will engage students. So put yourself in your own shoes and just pretty much think, what would I like if a teacher made a Facebook group for me, or in the case of WhatsApp, they made a WhatsApp group messaging system for me. And then, like I said, examples of this could be assignments where they have to comment on an article that you shared or video that you shared. This would be more interactive, and like Humira said, you can use two different systems of asynchronous or synchronous types of teaching. And then lastly, utilize all the systems that you can. So most likely, if you're not interested in one of those apps, you at least have two of them. So for me, I don't have Facebook, but I'm on GroupMe. So I would use GroupMe and look at GroupMe to see, okay, how best can you share information? How best can you communicate with somebody else? And how would you generate a classroom environment on these different applications? And I would say, just for, I guess, a little bit more of a challenging experience, I would do a social media platform of our three that you haven't used or you're not really well-rounded on, simply because using those social media apps could be very useful to you. If you don't have a Facebook and you open one up and you start making a page on it, and you end up realizing how this could benefit you in your career or in your academic studies and things like that. So ultimately, do your own research when it comes to your major and your field of study. But mainly what we want you to do is utilize the systems that you have via social media to help best communicate those ideas within what you're trying to teach.
Great. And I'd like to augment that by saying, if you use a Facebook platform, which these three are, then we will share whatever it is you create and how you did it with our friends at Facebook. So if you use Facebook or WhatsApp or Instagram, then we'll do that. If you use a different platform, you are more than welcome to do that. Maybe you already have a thriving community in a different place, like a GroupMe. That's totally okay. You can use that too. It's just not one of the ones that we'll share with Facebook. Okay, next, I'm going to expand on what Simeon said by making it a little bit even more broader. What should I teach? I would say you should teach something that you're passionate about and you're really good at, but also think about teaching something. So it may not be in your field or discipline. For instance, Simeon's undergrad was in business and he was working in insurance, being in the insurance capital of the world, Hartford, Connecticut, but he wanted to get into music or gaming. So maybe he should teach something in music or gaming, because then he can say he taught a class related to music or gaming, right? And then he can put that on his LinkedIn, and that actually shows that he has experience doing that, and actually like makes him a thought leader in some respects, right? Creating communities and teaching that skill. So think about how you want to be positioned. If you want to get into entertainment law, maybe you teach something related to entertainment law. If you want to get into, so think about how you might use this experience strategically. Who should I teach? I think you can be broad on that too. If you have a group of 30 friends who are a part of a GroupMe and they love what you do, you can ask them to be a part of your first class and you can teach 5 of them. If you care a lot about, Black Lives Matter murals in your city and creating more of them, like the city of Springfield, people are damaged the Black Lives Matter mural on the ground. So their strategy is to go broad, put murals up on like every street corner. And so if you have techniques on how to quickly organize and set up a mural, then you know exactly who you need to teach. Those are the volunteers and the people who care about that. How should I teach? Like we said, asynchronous or synchronous, having a community forum or not. It's really up to you. We are giving you a lot of flexibility here to design something that works for you and works for the week-long challenge. Does that mean that it can't spill over into a second week if you really want to like make it a meaningful experience for the learners? I would say that do what makes sense for the learners. So how many should I teach? Hey, if you have an opportunity to teach 1 to 5 people, great. If you have an opportunity to teach 500 people triangle art because they love your work and you can teach a little master class on it where people experiment using Google Slide and creating their own triangle art, go crazy, right? Teach 100 people, and you can say that on your LinkedIn, and that would be really cool. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and see what questions you might have. And again, we're like 7 minutes over time. I'm really sorry. I try to be on time. I'm sorry that I'm not today, but we just got to having so much fun learning. I hope you don't mind. But if anyone has any questions, feel free to shout them out. We'll answer them, or you can stay after class too. Any questions, any comments? Looking in the chat window. I don't see any questions here. Okay, I'm gonna say class adjourn. I can't wait to see your classrooms. I hope you all kick ass this week. I know you will. I know you will. And if you want to reach any one of us, we're not gonna have an official office hours, but we are here. So just post in the WhatsApp group any questions you have, or like, we are happy to hop on a call with you and give you any advice or suggestions. We're here for you. And I'm putting on one of my favorite songs for departing music because it's a lovely day. So great to see you all.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world
All right, I'm gonna lower the music. I'm assuming those who have stayed have questions.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a question. So basically we're creating like a page or a group on like a skill or something that we can teach.
We want you to teach a class. We want you to teach some people something, and you can create a community or a page to recruit them or market to them. But we'd like you to impart some skill to a group of learners.
Okay, and it can be on anything?
The topic that you're teaching, yes, it can be on anything. Okay. Ideally, it's something that you pick that's strategic, something you want to be known for, something you're really good at. But really, it's up to you.
Okay, because I already have a community on
I know, you have a huge
Facebook.
community. But now, to teach them a specific class, that's a special thing. That's a new thing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Johnny.
All right. Bye.
Take it easy. Hey, Jeffrey Park, can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, my laptop kept freezing, and so then I only got parts of what was said.
We're going to send you this recording. Then you
okay.
can have the whole thing.
Okay, that was my question.
Great.
Alrighty, thank you.
You're welcome. Take it easy.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. All right, team, you want to hop on the team line for a second? Great.